What's up, rockers? Welcome to another episode of the Talk Louder podcast, where we geek out on all things rock and roll. Hit that subscribe button on our YouTube channel. Leave us your likes and comments. You can also leave likes and comments on our Facebook page. Follow us on iTunes, Spotify, Instagram at talklouder_podcast. And, of course, our website, talklouderpodcast.com, where we've got links to all our previous episodes and links to buy merchandise, etc. I'm Metal Dave, along with my co-host, Jason McMaster. What's up, Jason? Seems like it's been a while.
I think that it has, but, you know, we can't stop time and shit to do in between these episodes. So, yeah.
Exactly. Well, we got a good one today. We have Charlie Benante from Anthrax, one of my favorite drummers in all of rock and heavy metal, and I'm really excited to have some time with him. We've got about 30 minutes, so we're going to try to cram in as much as we can. But I know you have some history with Charlie and Anthrax. Your previous band, Watchtower, once opened for him, so
yeah.
Give us a quick summary on that.
Spreading the Disease Tour, 86. I believe it was Watchtower, Hellstar, and Anthrax at the Ritz, downtown Austin. You know, I remember talking to Scott out in the alley behind in the alley behind the Ritz. I remember him giving me some fanzines. I think his brother had a fanzine for a little while. You know, the SOD record was real hot.
Yeah.
At that moment, it was new. What a great moment. And it's something that I want to kind of bring up to Charlie is just, you know, when I say 1986, what's the first thing that comes to your mind? Because I know what it is for me. It was such a great year, and it was kind of like the year that the dam broke for a lot of our music, you know, as far as metal goes.
Yeah.
But Charlie I'm excited just because he's in the Big Four. He's beyond a drummer. He's beyond the drummer for Anthrax. He's an artist. He's a businessman. He's a guitar player. He's a songwriter. He's into NFTs. He's you know, it's over my head, and it's crazy. But I've had the pleasure of, you know, I've never worked with Charlie, but just, you know, being able to say that I've rubbed elbows a couple times with him is enough for me. And you know, I was pretty close to John Bush, as you know. So his years in Anthrax, I was always a tag along, as you were.
Yes, thank you, by the way.
So, of course. So, you know, those, and just, it was even better because just, you know, it's not just John Bush, it's John Bush and Anthrax. And probably not right to separate those, but you know why I did, why we did, you know.
Well, you made a good point about Charlie being more than the drummer in Anthrax.
Oh, yeah.
One of the primary songwriters in Anthrax. From my understanding, he writes a lot of the songs on guitar.
Yeah.
And then fleshes them out with Scott and Frank. Frankie, who we've also had on the show, Frank Bello, bass player for Anthrax. So this is our second member of Anthrax to join the show. And I have a great memory with Charlie. I was with you one of those times we went to see Anthrax. We went to Colleen, of all places, and I got to sit there and hover over Charlie while he warmed up on a backstage drum kit. And, I mean, he was inches away from me, and it was just amazing. And I think he's here.
Looks like he's coming in right now.
He's coming in. Ladies and gentlemen, Charlie Benante on the Talk Louder podcast.
There we go.
Hey, there he is.
How you doing, man?
Oh, good. Fucking hot as hell here today.
Dude, we live in Texas. Tell us about it.
It's been like 105 and shit here, man.
All right, I'm sorry.
Our high, hey, we're going to have a good day here in the Austin area. I think the high today is like 98.
Yeah, we're getting a break.
It's winter.
Where are you, Charlie?
I'm in Illinois.
Okay.
Chicago somewhere.
Okay, so you are still living in that part of the country.
Yeah.
Yeah. You've been there a while now, huh?
I've been here for a while,
Yeah,
like 16, 17 years.
That thing that I did with Portnoy at the Vic, you were at that thing, and I think you were
I
living
remember.
there. Yeah, I think you were living there at that point. So.
Yeah, I moved here like 05, 06, something like that.
Okay, yeah, that was that same year.
Yeah.
Wow.
Cool. Hey,
So
man.
go ahead,
Since we don't have a lot of time, sorry, we're gonna talk over each other probably quite a bit. So apologize for that. I watched some of the bonus features from the Blu-ray, and that shit's fun.
Oh yeah, some of the other songs. Yeah, that was. It was interesting revisiting some of those songs that we haven't played in forever. Yeah, I'm sure other people will understand this who haven't played their older music in a long time, that when you revisit it and you go back and listen, it's like, wow, I can't believe I played that like that, because the way we play the songs in the set, the way they started, sometimes we don't play them like that anymore. They've evolved into a new part, or just the way you approach it. It's just different.
Yeah. Yeah, the live version it's the live version.
It's the live version.
Everybody has that. Yeah.
It's like going back to listening to Kiss Alive.
I was just going to say that.
The treatment that those songs got from, say, the first album, or even Hotter Than Hell, when you hear them on a live, it's like a whole new animal, man. It's so ferocious.
Yeah. Unleashed in the East, same.
Yeah.
Unleashed in the East.
If you want blood.
Yeah. Same.
Let's set the stage here, Charlie. So we're talking about it's technically the 41st anniversary of Anthrax. You are about to release no, not really, 40th anniversary. Okay, 40th anniversary of Anthrax, and you're about to release what Jason was referring to, a DVD, CD, Blu-ray. I mean, you're covering all the formats on this thing, and it's a live stream concert type thing, right?
It's yeah, it is, but it's not like on let's say we're playing a big stage with lights and everything. This was a more intimate kind of more us just getting in a small room and just playing the songs. And of course this was during the whole COVID thing, so we hadn't played in a long time, and this gave us an opportunity to get together and maybe dig out some old songs too. And when Chuck D was in LA when we were doing it, and he came down and we did a cool version of Bring the Noise. Flavor was supposed to come down too, but I don't know what happened.
Wow. So did you record that in front of an audience at all? Even like a small group of fan club members, or just you guys in an empty room, huh?
With cameramen and audio people. And
I think after like one of the songs I heard like,
woo!
Yeah, I heard like that. But
where do you get the crowd? Where do you get the energy? Because typically a live band feeds off the audience, and you're doing this, and the energy on the performance is great, but you wouldn't even know there wasn't an audience there. How do you sustain that while you're not having the energy of the crowd to feed off of?
Well, the funny thing about us is, like, even back in the day when we were rehearsing in Jamaica, Queens, when we would play the songs, we would always play them as if we were playing in front of a crowd. We would kind of entertain ourselves and just get caught up in the moment and the music and just perform it. You know what I mean? It doesn't happen all the time, but a lot of the times we get so excited about the power that you have when you're playing and the whole band, and it just sounds like this, wow, that sounds awesome, that you can't help but kind of get involved and get excited. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And so The Devil You Know is the latest video release from this collection, and the video is awesome. I love the video. I love the song, by the way. Anyone that's listening that hasn't picked up Worship Music or For All Kings, if you haven't had the opportunity to pick up the last couple Anthrax albums, they're great. You owe yourself that favor. But the Devil You Know video has this great photo montage of memories of you guys with some of the bands you've toured with, and of course there's all the usual suspects, Kiss and Iron Maiden, but a couple that caught my eye. There was one of you and Phil Rudd, Tell me about the story behind that photo. Phil Rudd, the drummer for AC/DC.
Let me go back a little bit. There's a lyric in the song that says, "My kind won't be seen again." That is a reference to the musicians, bands, artists, whoever that we all grew up with that we loved. You probably won't see this again, is what we're referring to, because if you take it to nowadays, I doubt the three of us can say who the latest guy that we kind of look up to is in the past 20, 25 years.
Yeah.
So a lot of those photos that are in the videos are people that inspired us, whether it be, you know, when we were really little or whatever. But so that's the reference to those type of photos in there. So AC/DC is probably in my top 5 of my all-time favorite bands. And Phil Rudd has always been one of my favorite drummers. And some people may go, huh? What? Why? Phil Rudd is an awesome drummer, and is someone that I looked up to since I heard AC/DC. So one night they played in town, and we both had the same cymbal company, and there was a lot of back and forth about Charlie's coming to see Phil. So when I'm in the room with him, Phil comes walking in, and he's like, "Where's Charlie? Where's Charlie?" And he's like, "Oh, there he is." And then we had this great conversation, and of course, I was so happy that I got to take a photo with Phil. He's just awesome.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's the best.
You know, it's you know, I teach kids how to play music, as you know, and like even kids get cocky. AC/DC, I don't want to play that song. And it's like, why? Oh, it's too easy. I go, all right, let's play it. Ready? Let's play it. Kick pattern's wrong. Try again. Right? They can't play it. They can't play it correctly.
No, because
no one can.
No, the way Phil Rudd approaches the songs and his meter, and most drummers want to fill.
Yep.
Yeah.
In the song. Phil doesn't fill that much, and when he does fill, it's this nice, tasty blah blah boom ba ba boom ba, and you just feel it, you know. So he doesn't overdo it, because Phil understands the role in the band. They all understood the role in the band, and the focus was Angus. So Angus is going to do what he does, and we're going to stay back here, and we're just going to keep it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Chop the wood. Yeah,
it's fucking awesome.
Y'all keep the fire burn, and we'll chop the wood back here.
And it's funny you said that about kids, because I've been in situations where I'll see some, you know, famous drummers trying to play an AC/DC song, and I'm just like, nah, it's not it. It's not it. And I would dare anybody to play a song like "Let There Be Rock," and you keep it up all through the song without don't fill, just kind of keep it going.
Or tempo waver, like don't let the tempo fall. Keep it up, man. Yeah.
They're awesome. They're just awesome. They're machines. So so that's why I say in the song, you know, we don't see this kind again, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
That's important stuff right there, man.
Another photo in that montage is Jimmy Page. Tell us a little bit about meeting him. How did that happen?
That was Scott and I were invited to the Metallica when they were in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and Metallica invited Scott and I to the whole ceremony. The whole thing was just so awesome, and Metallica had a party, and in came Jimmy Page with Joe Perry. And I'm a huge Aerosmith fan, but when I saw Jimmy Page, I was just like, holy shit, dude. That's like I'm a guitar player trapped in a drummer's body, but Jimmy Page has always been, when you see him, a picture of Jimmy Page, you just smell rock star. This guy was like such an innovator. So it was Scott, myself, Ross Halfin, and Jimmy, and introduced us to Jimmy Page. And I thought to myself, I want to talk to Jimmy Page, but I don't want to talk to him about some bullshit thing. So there was this interview that I had read years ago about the assistant engineer that was working on Zeppelin 3 had accidentally erased a part. It was like the intro going into Celebration Day, and that whole piece was erased. So I asked Jimmy Page about that, and as soon as I asked him about that, his face lit up, and he was into the conversation, and I was so happy just to talk to him about that. And he told me what happened, and I was just like, God, could you imagine that, erasing something accidentally on Zeppelin 3? So it was awesome. And
wow.
he's just such a gentleman, and like I said, he's the epitome of rock star.
Wow. Well played with your question.
Yeah.
Man. That's great. You got him.
Yeah,
you got him. So
I don't know where I don't know where I found that one. I was just like, all right.
Apparently in an old interview, man.
Yeah.
That's a good share.
Filed
Cream
away.
magazine.
So again, the photo montage reminds me of just how many massive bands you've toured with, all of your heroes, that sort of thing. And I know you probably get asked this all the time, so I'm not going to ask. And the cliched question is, have any of those guys ever given you a great piece of advice or whatever? What I want to know is, out of all the bands you've toured with, which guy was the best prankster?
Oh, Daryl. Without a doubt.
This probably goes without saying. Tell us a story.
I mean, it's like at any given moment, at any given time, you would be in the dressing room and the door would kick open and he would come in and with something, didn't know what, and that was it. Your day would just start. You know, it was the circus, and it was just so much fun to be around. And every day was another story or another scenario. And days off were even better because you would just go and do stuff that, all right, I guess I'm going with this, you know. And it was just fun. It was fun. I miss those days.
Yeah.
I miss those guys too a lot.
Yeah.
But that was so much fun, those tours. But there was one situation that I always talk about on that tour where I was so sick, dude. They took me to the hospital. I was dehydrated. I was running a fever, and I was in my bunk just laying low. And if any of you have ever, you've been on a bus, if you're in your bunk, you could hear when the door opens and then there's that boom. And I hear footsteps and the door opens and then my curtain gets pulled open and it's him. And he's like, I heard you're sick. I'm like, yeah, I'm sick. And he had some shots. And I'm like, dude, the last thing I want to do is have a shot of anything right now. I'm on medication. He's like, booze is the healer. He always believed that booze would heal anything. So I ended up doing the shot with him, and it actually it made me feel better. And I played the show, sweated out, and then about a half hour after the show, dude, I was fucked up again. So, but he's right though. Booze did heal me for that time period.
Got you through it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So the DVD is celebrating 40 years. I mean, that's an amazing career. What would you be doing career-wise if you weren't able to sustain Anthrax for 40 years? Where would you be in life right now?
Oh God, that's a tough question to answer because it would probably be something in the music field or the art field.
Yeah,
so I don't.
You spent some time in the art department at one of the labels for a little while, yeah?
A lot.
Yeah.
I learned a lot from them, and I think that's where I would be. I don't know. It's always my dream thing is to have a place like a coffee shop in the day, and then at night it turns into like a wine or whiskey bar, and I'd have a little stage where someone could get up and talk about whatever they want or sing about whatever they want, and I would just make it as eclectic as possible, and anyone who wants to come in and have a drink could just come in and just hang out, you know what I mean? So I would love to have a place like that.
Well, maybe someday when you retire from Anthrax.
I don't.
If that day ever comes,
don't give
he's
him
shaking
any
his head
ideas,
no. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be a fun thing to do. Billy Corgan has a place in this area called Highland Park, and it's kind of like that. And when I walked in there, I was like, wow, this is cool, but it's big, But I saw this, like, I had this vision of, wow, I would do that. I would do that, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So, but that's cool. He has a place there.
Yeah.
I think I really, really like the idea of, you know, because I'll be the first to say it. I'll speak for myself. I'm not getting any younger, but to have a chill place like that for, you know, dinosaur rockers, you know, to go to at the end of the day, you know, the pasture, you know.
You could call it the tar pit.
Something, yeah, just a place that you end up, you know, day's end, you know, some kind of thing where exactly how you described is this sort of chill. And
yeah, you know, it's funny, like that term dinosaur rockers. I used to think about that when I was younger, especially when I was like into the Sex Pistols and stuff, and they hated like the Pink Floyds or you know, those type of prog rocky bands. And a part of me understood it too, but I don't know. It's just kind of a weird thing nowadays to look at ourselves as that, even though we're not prog rock, you know. But
Right.
but I don't know, man. I don't know if it's if this is all just timeless now, and I don't know if you're going to date anything, because there's always a new generation picking up on it.
yes,
Which is such a great thing because of their parents or their older brothers or whatever. There's always going to be someone to say, I took this from my brother's room, or my dad was playing this and I fucking love it, you know? So, I mean, when we play, just the other night, we played Milwaukee Summerfest. There was a bunch of little kids in the crowd, and this one kid had a sign in the front, and he wanted to sing. This. We did this album a couple years ago called Anthems, and on it we had an AC/DC track, TNT.
Yeah.
And this kid had a sign that said, "Can I sing TNT with you?" And we were like, "Okay." So we brought him up, and he fucking sang TNT, and it was
nice.
Things like that, man, it just goes a long way, you know?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that passing of the baton, I think Anthrax is just as much as anybody in our collections or our older brothers or cousins' collections that were passed down to us. You guys are still doing it. You're still passing batons. You're still influencing. You're influencing new bands of, you know, whatever genre, any genre of that's under a umbrella of metal. Some of them are going to say Anthrax, and so that has to feel really good.
Yeah. Oh, it definitely does. It definitely does.
Yeah.
I don't take it for granted at all.
I have a weird question. When my band Watchtower played with you guys, and Hellstar, I believe, was on the bill. In '86, Spreading the Disease tour, you guys had this banner. It was like your drum riser scrim, and it had a yellow Anthrax logo on it. Someone made that, and you guys
kept
like
it.
Velcroed it to your drum riser.
Yeah, we loved it so much.
well, I could tell because I think I'm like stage left or something, and I saw the whole thing happen. Somebody in the front row jumped up and grabbed it off the riser and dove in the crowd. And dude, you stopped playing and jumped over the kit and was like, "Hey, fucker, you're giving that back, right?" I'm amazed at. Well, you know, I'm not saying that you wouldn't remember it, but that was so long ago.
Dude, back in those days, we had a half of like a metal crowd and half of like this kind of hardcore punk crowd, and sometimes. Shit would break out and people would just do things like as if it was theirs. I'm taking this, like you said, you know, and that was like our first real tour.
Yeah.
I mean, because we did a tour with Raven in like '84, and then we did some stuff in '85, but '86 we put that record out and we were gone. I mean, we were out.
Yeah. Still gone. Speaking of gone, you're about to go out with Black Label Society. You've got a tour coming up that launches next month in July. Black Label Society and Hatebreed. How much history do you have with Black Label? And as a guitar player, have you ever been able to sit backstage with Zach and trade licks?
No, but I will. Actually, here's a bit of info. When we did a tour with Ozzy in 1988, or around that, it was like State Euphoria, and he had what was the record? Something, No Rest for the Wicked or something, maybe, or something like that.
Yeah, it was like Miracle Man and all that shit on it. Yeah.
Zach was a guitar player on that tour. It was his first tour ever. And we actually met each other for the first time back then. And I'm looking forward to it because we've known the guy forever, and we know a lot of the guys in his band, especially JD, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's a great package. Yeah.
I agree. And it's different, you got different styles of metal going on. So
right, but plenty of heavy to go around.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, we should talk real quick about Silver Linings.
Yes.
Wow, what a collection of talent you got on that, and what a great song list or set of songs.
Awesome.
When you were putting that together, collaborating with all your buddies, did anybody come to the table with a hidden talent that you didn't know existed? Did anybody surprise you with any of their creativity or their ability?
Oh, it's funny you said that, because the people that I picked to be involved in this, I always thought that I heard something behind what they do, for a living, if you know what I mean. Right. So someone like Mark Usagata from Death Angel, I always heard this Bono type of vocal, like he sounded like Bono to me. And then my nephew, Frank, who's in the band, I always heard a quality out of him too, and I thought the two of them would be perfect for that song, the U2 song. And it was. They both nailed each part so well. And it didn't shock me, but it shocked other people. And then the other song was the Mother Love Bone song that
awesome.
Mark and I, whenever Death Angel were on tour with us, Mark and I would always spend nights on the bus listening to bands and music that we loved, but we really didn't play music like that. One of the bands was Mother Love Bone, and we always talked about that song. And when I convinced myself to do that song, I'm like, Mark, I'm going to do it. You want to do it? He's like, fuck yeah, And he did a great job on that. And he's such a big Andrew Wood fan, too, that he wanted to kind of do it exactly like Andrew Wood, So he nailed that, too. And it's one of my favorites on that record.
Yeah.
I love the record, if I can jump in here, because there's not, it's like these different levels of what? Oh, yeah, okay. Sure, the Kiss songs, everybody knows you're a huge Kiss freak.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of things on here that are surprising. And I also have to mention, Dave already mentioned it, but the list of peeps that you have here, it literally looks like a set list or a guest list, of people that's kind of like, stuck on the back of the record. I thought it was an interesting way to do that so everyone could see. And I did run into John Five last week in Atlantic City, and I was able to go, dude, all the way. And he's like, yeah. I'm like, I was asking him where you guys got those fucking masks from. And he's like, oh, those were in my collection from the 70s. I'm like, what? I should have known that. But I wanted to also ask, did you guys pre-record your tracks for the videos that you made during the lockdown? Okay.
Yeah.
And then just mime to videos and edit and stuff. Right.
Because I tried to do it. One of the original ones, we tried to do it that way. But if someone has bad internet or something, there's going to be latency issues, and it's never going to work. So it was like, well, let's scrap that. We really wanted to be a purist and try to do it that way, but there's no way you could do it. So had to do it this way. Yeah. And the best part for me was the attention to detail, and that's the one thing I told everybody. I said, put yourself in it, but really put yourself in the body of the band that's doing it. Try and really capture that, because that was important to me. I wanted it to sound like some of those Kiss songs. People thought we were just miming it, and I said, no, we recreated it, which you know. Because of that, I did the classic '78 record.
Yeah,
I wanted to
bring
that up. Those guys sang
too.
on that.
Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
Dude, that's such a great album.
I mean, you kind of belong in that project. If you don't mind me saying, I think that's.
I had to do it.
Yeah, dude, because the idea that those guys have to have that, to take the sound, and you know what sound I'm talking about, and sort of like just keep it as tight as it can to that classic Kiss tone.
Absolutely.
Yes, and nail it all the time. Okay, let's flick the Ace switch here. Let's flick the Paul switch here. You know, so and you're good because you have that producer brain where you can kind of put things together and make sure. Nope, it's not Gene enough. Do it again. Who sang? Was that PJ singing the Gene on All the Way? Who sang All the Way?
No, actually. Okay, so the two guys from Classic '78, okay. Tom and Joe. Tom handles the Gene and Ace stuff, and Joe handles the Paul stuff. We haven't found anybody who could do Peter, but we may have found someone. But the thing about that record is I wanted that to sound just like Eddie Kramer had produced it, or just get the tones to sound exactly like Kiss did. So it was a bit of a task to do it, getting that snare drum to have that Peter kind of boing, that honk, you know. So it took a little time, but I was so happy at the end of the day that we actually captured it, or at least tried to capture it.
Nah, you did great. It's a great, talking about silver linings here on Talk Louder podcast. Everyone should go get this. Can they just get this on the website, Megaforce? The Rush
EP is gone. It's sold out.
I was just going to mention that.
You know, I didn't even know about that until Dave turned me on to it. I was like, what? I didn't even know about that.
I love that you did Subdivisions, because this may not be a popular opinion, but Subdivisions is my all-time favorite Rush song.
That's a good one.
It speaks to me. It transports me right back to high school and all those things you deal with as a kid, conforming and cliques and, you know, the stoners and the nerds and the preppies and the what's next in life and all that sort of thing.
Well, you know, the thing about that song and other Rush songs too, they really hit home later on for me. Like, if back in the day I didn't really get all of it, I got it later on. A song like Spirit of Radio, those lyrics they mean a lot, especially if you're in the business.
Yeah.
You know?
So we got one more quick one, and then we're going to have to let you go because I know our time is running out. But again, you've 40 years, you've toured with your heroes, you've been immortalized in pop culture on The Simpsons, Married with Children, 2 shows that I know you're fanatical about, so that had to be an honor. You broke musical barriers with Public Enemy. You played Yankee Stadium. You're in the Big Four. What else is left on the bucket list for Charlie Benante?
Don't forget Calendar Girls.
I wasn't a part of that. You know what? I don't know what's next, to be honest with you. Maybe it's that place I was talking about, the coffee/wine bar. But I think this year people are excited for bands to get out there again and be a part of something because they missed it for over 2 years. So I think I'm focused on that and trying to focus more on getting this record done and getting the record finished and having it out there too. It's just taking forever. There's been so many roadblocks.
Well, if it's following in the same footsteps as Worship Music and For All Kings, it's going to be a winner because those two were home runs right out of the park, man. They were awesome records. And
it's kind of going that way, but it's of course I'm going to say that it's different because it's new, you know.
Sure.
But the songs have a lot of, the songs just have a lot of heart to them. and I don't know if it's because of the lockdown that we just got a little more emotional, but yeah, I just think the record has a lot of heart to it.
Age and experience, as well as, you know, just the shit storm we've all had to endure, and you got to write songs now that reflect.
Got to write songs, right? But we're not going to write songs that reflect that. You know what I mean? I think it's going to be more from the inside of, you know, the emotions. We're not going to talk about this political thing or that thing. It's just going to be a song, a record that people can just enjoy.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah. Well, we're looking forward to the tour, Black Label Society and Hatebreed, along with Anthrax, going out in July. We'll see you in Austin, I hope. I think you got a date at Stubbs in Austin. Looking forward to that. And again, the 40th anniversary. Congratulations, man. We wish you 40 more. And we thank you for spending time with us today on the Talk Louder podcast.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. Love you guys.
Thanks. Take care, man. Well, we've done it again, Dave.
Charlie,
and you know
Benante.
Yep, that thing is, we've had someone from the Big Four on the show.
Second time. And both members of Anthrax, Frank Bello and now Charlie Benante, joined us.
Yeah, I mean, hope that they're okay with our silly little podcast, us saying, you know, hey, we're pro Anthrax because they, you know, if they're the only ones we ever get from the Big Four on here, let's never say never. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, never say never. But, you know, Frank is still one of my favorite guests that we've ever had, and Charlie, of course, was great today as well.
They're just good people, and you can tell they're not. They care. They care about everything that everything they do. They put their whole soul into it.
Yeah, and Charlie, you know, you mentioned and he mentioned he's a great artist, man. I mean, so his stamp is all over Anthrax. I don't know how well people are aware of that. They know him as the drummer, but he does the album cover artwork and the T-shirt artwork, and they've got sideline things that we didn't even talk about today, like comic books and graphic novels and all that. And Charlie's
he's like the guy in the band that should have like 3 books out by now.
Yeah, right. Well, he probably does, as far if you added up all the comic books and whatnot. And don't forget, he's also got his coffee empire too. So he's got his own brand.
Yeah, we didn't even talk about that.
Yeah, well, you know, we only had 30 minutes. He's another one of those guys we could talk to for a week and probably still not touch on everything.
Yeah, he's an onion.
Yeah, lots of layers. Yeah. But I was happy to have him. He was great. And
super happy to have him. I'm all like caffeinated right now. It's just like fucking ready to just talk to Charlie for hours, and knowing that we only had a half hour, that was kind of whatever. But dude, he brought up the classic 78. I don't even know if you know about that. Do you know about that? Okay, great.
And you know what else I know about that? A former guest of ours did the artwork.
Yes, that's right. Claudio Bergaman.
Yes.
So I want to say that I heard about Classic 78 also from Claudio Bergaman. Sent me some links to some stuff, and I was like, whoa, this is, I mean, it was kind of a mind fuck listening to it because I'm such a Kiss nerd.
Right.
And I'm going, I get it right away. Some songs I liked better than others. You know, I don't know if they took one or two too far, you know, as far as what it is they're doing, but that's kind of the idea, right?
Yeah.
So when I heard that Charlie was just to be clear to people who don't know, Classic 78, the goal is to sound like the sound that is 70s Kiss.
Yeah, early Kiss.
They got a guy that can sound like Paul. They got a guy that can sound like Gene. They got they have this whole thing that's sort of like not throwback or not even trying to be future. It's just this like sort of frozen time machine that can move around just enough to be the world that was how large and in charge Kiss was in the 70s by tone, by association of tone, a style of art, we use Pearl drums and Gibson guitars because we want the best.
Yeah.
Anyone who knows where they first read that sentence, they need to hear Classic 78.
Yeah, exactly. I've heard some of it, and it does sound remarkably, very much like something between Dress to Kill and Rock and Roll Over.
Yeah.
It's right in that alley.
Yeah, it's super fun.
Classic 78, if you're
And I want to try out for the sounding like Peter Criss guy.
Yeah, I heard there was an opening.
Yeah, somewhere. Well, this has been awesome, and people who are addicted to Talk Louder, please tell your friends to make more friends. Just if any reason, if you don't want more friends, I get it. But if you're looking for more friends, make sure you're wearing your Talk Louder T-shirt so they can say, "What the hell's that?"
Yeah. And share our links when we post them, please.
Please, please, please.
So, yeah, big thanks to Heidi, big thanks to Mary, and, of course, thanks to Charlie Benante for joining us today.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes, go see Anthrax and Black Label Society when they come to your town.
And Hatebreed. That's a great triple bill. So
that's seriously heavy.
Kicks off in July, runs through August, coming to a town near you. All right, man, that's going to do it for another episode of the Talk Louder podcast. On behalf of my co-host, Jason McMaster, I'm Metal Dave Glessner. Thank you all for listening. We'll see you next time.